What is up? This is the first YouTube of a series that I am doing. I'm going to be going through the basic principles of life, pretty much basic principles that I follow basically every day. I have a list in this book here that I'm going to be sharing with all of you. It's going to be a little series, probably not too long. I guess, let's say 20 lessons. I decided to start with discipline as the first, so let's get into it. Now let's start off with the definition of discipline. Doing what needs to be done even when you don't want to do it. That could be a lot of things. It's a huge spectrum. Let's go with a common one that you see on my channel. The gym. Do I feel like going to the gym personally? No. I actually hate going to the gym. It's a pain, it's a chore. Who likes doing it? Not this guy. I like the pump, don't get me wrong. The end result is amazing, but the process of doing it, showing up, getting in my truck, going there, getting out, making sure I have everything, just the whole self-conscious part of going to the gym. I'm a self-conscious person. It might not seem like it from my posts, but I'm very self-conscious, but I still do it. That is called discipline. Now, the 5 points of discipline. Acceptance. So, acceptance. That is accepting that life sucks. Accepting that you're going to have to do things that you don't like doing, but still doing them. Discipline. So you have to accept the fact that life sucks, but you're still going to have to show up. It is what it is. That's one of my favorite things to say. It is what it is. At some point in your life, you're going to have to accept that you're going to have to do things you don't like doing. It sucks. It is what it is. Get over it. Just do it. We all have to do it. We have to go to work. We all have to have money to pay our bills. We all have to, we have to do it. Like, it doesn't matter what you think, what you feel, what you believe. You have to do it. Some things you have to do. And as a man, there's certain things you have to accept in life that you have to do. And that's okay. It's a part of the process. You'll be fine. Willpower. Willpower is a skill you have to develop over time. It has taken me years. I've been going to the gym now for, let's see, 6-7 years. It is a skill you have to develop. It's not easy. It's very hard to find the willpower to do certain things. So it has to become natural, like eating, breathing. You have to breathe. You have to eat. You have to drink water to survive. You have to have willpower to survive. Now, hard work and execution. You can flip these around if you'd like. It doesn't matter what order they go in. But let's start with hard work. Everything in life takes hard work. Some things you could, I guess, half-ass try, but why would you want to half-ass anything in your life? Because this is your life. You, person I'm looking at, this is your life. You have to try everything, so don't half-ass anything you do in your life. If you're gonna do something, do it to the max. Do it to the max. Do not stop, do not hesitate. Go. Just to the next point, execution. Whenever you think of something, you have to do it. I've been pondering doing YouTube and social media for probably 2 years. And I'd say about 3-4 years ago, I made my first post. It was my personal Instagram account. It was an Instagram story. I was sweating bullets, making sure it was edited perfectly, making sure the lighting was right, the perfect song. But really, it didn't matter. As long as I just did it and got my name out there, that's all that mattered. You need to get your name out there. That's all that matters. Because this is your life, and you have to live it to the fullest. Persistence. This is the thing that people struggle with the most, is being persistent. You have to attack it every day. Every time you wake up, you have to attack. You have to be persistent with everything you do. If you want to completely change your physique, you have to be persistent in the gym. You have to be persistent with your diet, sleep, nutrition, vitamins, everything. You have to be persistent with every single thing you do. It doesn't matter what it is in life. It could be money, relationship. If you're not persistent in anything in your life, it's going to fail. It doesn't matter. You need to be persistent. persistent. Now let's go over the 5 C's of discipline. Clarity, clear rules. There need to be clear rules when you're trying to get discipline in your life. Obviously, what's the first one? Being consistent, being persistent, staying dedicated to your goal. You have to be dedicated towards your life. This is your life. It is very easy to fail and fall flat on your face. But as long as you get up, you'll be okay. Consistency, steady enforcement. I already kind of went over that when I went over clarity. You have to be consistent. You have to be consistent. It doesn't matter what you do. You have to be consistent. In anything in your life, you have to be consistent. Obviously, you have to wake up to go to work, right? You have to wake up to eat. You have to wake up to use the restroom. You have to wake up to drink water. You gotta wake up to go to the gym. You gotta wake up. You have to be consistent. You can't just bed rot all day. You have to get up and be persistent. Communication, express emotion. That doesn't mean you have to communicate with others about your discipline. It's nice to have a brotherhood. That's another point we'll get into probably in another video in the series. You have to be able to express emotion to yourself. Sorry for the background noise. I have cats. I have 2 kittens and 1 adult. And it's Zoomy hours apparently. So you have to be able to communicate emotions with yourself. You have to be able to wake up. First thing you do when you open your eyes, assess the situation. Do you want to be up right now? Probably not, but you need to. When you're about to leave for the gym, do I want to go to the gym? No, but is it gonna help me in the long run? Of course it will. Going to the gym will never hurt you, just like working hard. If you bust your ass in your job, gym, anything in life, you're going to win. I've never seen someone try their hardest at anything and not be rewarded by the fruits of their labor. I've never seen it in my life. It always works. Caring, support, not just correction. So you have to care about why you're doing something. If I would just aimlessly go to the gym, I probably would stop because I wouldn't care. You have to care about what you do. Again, anything in your life. Let's say you're pursuing a relationship with Christ. Hence St. Michael murking Satan right there. If you're pursuing a relationship with Christ, you have to be persistent. You have to do it every day. We're humans. We're not perfect. We're going to fall short. There's no such thing as a perfect Christian. But as long as you try to be a perfect Christian, you will succeed. That I guarantee. So by support and not just correction, you have to correct yourself. Yes, if you catch your mind astray, you have to lock back in. You have to blink and cure your brain. So sometimes I will do something that is detrimental to my goal, right? Sometimes I will doom scroll Instagram Reels or TikTok or whatever, Facebook Marketplace, because I love vehicles. Anyways, you have to correct yourself and then support the correction. Because if you just correct yourself and don't tell yourself why, or support the why, then you're just gonna end up in an endless loop of doing whatever So these last 4 or 5 C's, it could be any one of these last 4 C's. Create, commit, courage, control. You have to create the image in your head of what you want. You have to commit to it. You have to have the courage to commit to it. And you have to have control in order to be courageous and commit to your goal that you created. So it goes in order. If you just follow these, I promise you'll be okay. All right, let's go over some examples of discipline. Personal, gym diet. If I were you, I would go to the gym. If you are not already in the gym, go to the freaking gym. Just go. Get a membership. If you can't afford a membership, start at home. Push-ups, sit-ups, pull-ups. You could do anything at home in the workout realm if you put your mind to it, right? Social, remaining calm when angered. If you have no self-control when somebody's trying to argue against you or just have a conversation with you, that's a problem. If someone's trying to come at you on purpose, you have to have control, because what will bother people is when they try to upset you and stone cold, just stone cold face the whole time. It will bother them. It especially bothers bullies. So if you're in school, like younger generation of me, elementary, I doubt elementary kids will watch this. Middle school, high school, if someone's trying to bully you, stone cold face, stone cold emotions. Don't let it bother you. honestly smile. Kill them with kindness, because it will bother the life out of them that their bullying is not affecting you whatsoever. I did it. I turned out okay, I guess. Professional. Finances. Doing work in free time. So you have to be professional with everything you do in your life. You have to be a professional. I cannot stress this enough. You have to be professional with finances. If you have a checking and savings account, you should be putting 25% of your checks into your savings. That's very common knowledge. Very common knowledge. Doing work in free time. So if you get back from work, and use me as an example, I put this off for a week now, making this video, because I didn't want to sit here and try to think of words. I didn't think I'd be able to communicate proper sentences because I have brain lag. Sometimes I'm honestly just stupid, and that's okay. I think everybody's a little stupid sometimes. That's perfectly fine. But every time I get back from work, I always sit at my table, or I go in the war room and I sit there and I think of ways to make money. I think of ways to make my life better. I'm constantly thinking, even at work, I'm constantly thinking of how to make more money. I constantly think of ways to get my friends and I out of the trenches, because when you make it out, the climb will be your favorite part. Remember that. When you get out of a crappy situation, the climb out will be your favorite part, because it'll teach you all the lessons. Let's say you were born into a wealthy family that controls the banking and the way to gold and all of that. I'm not gonna get into who those people are. But let's say that you're born into that. You're born into the highest echelon of people. You don't have any life lessons. You're born with innate value. You don't have to struggle. The struggle is the most beautiful part of your journey. Always remember that. So every time I get in trouble, I find myself in a bad situation, I thank God that I am, because He is teaching me a lesson. And that goes back to clarity. You need to realize why you're in a bad situation. Clarify to yourself, why is this happening to me? Probably because I need to learn a lesson. And that's okay. You need to learn a lesson. Now, to be extremely disciplined, start small by mastering one habit at a time, consistently showing up for tiny tasks, removing temptations, prioritizing fundamentals, and creating clear routines. Learn to lean into discomfort and say no to distractions, building self-awareness and holding yourself accountable. Let's go over that. Now, mastering one habit at a time. Let's go back into finances. You can pick one thing in your life, but be aware of the other things you need to be disciplined with. So finances, obviously you need money to live, eat, drink, sleep. In today's world, it's so hard to live off the land unless you're a survivalist expert, which I'd say 1% of the population is. So you need to master one habit at a time. Habit's a key word. Make your discipline a habit. You need to make the well-disciplined factors in your life a habit. So if you have a bad habit, you need to replace it with something good, like lust. Lust is something you cannot beat. It is always going to be in your mind tempting you, but you need to replace it. So every time you think of doing something lustful, go do something that's disciplined. So every time you think about lusting, do push-ups. Punish yourself for thinking that. Then you're going to develop the habit of doing push-ups when you get lustful. Very simple. Consistently showing up for tiny tasks. Tiny tasks could be a gym. You could do 15-20 minutes of cardio every day. As long as you show up, that's all that matters. The tiny wins will get you to the end. I promise you. Removing temptations. Same thing with lust. That could be eating junk food. Every time you want to eat a piece of junk food, you can eat something healthy. Very simple. Prioritizing fundamentals. That goes back to 5 points of discipline and the 5 C's. You need to master the fundamentals in order to get somewhere. It is very easy to master the fundamentals, because once you do that, your path is set and clear. Creating clear routines. Going to the gym, diet, everything kind of goes back to the gym. That's why I tell everybody to get in the gym, because it sort of fixes everything in your life. I promise. If you go to the gym, your life will start to get better and better and better and better. It's just like work. People lose momentum with work because they aren't rewarded instantly. That's the problem with my generation. I'm Gen Z, I'm 23 years old. My generation's problem is instant gratification, and I fall victim to that. a lot. Almost every day I do. You work, 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 nothing happens, you get a little better. Work, 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 nothing happens again, but you get a little bit better. Work, 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 boom. The fruits of your labor. It is right there in your grasp, but you have to work. You have to put in the work. I cannot stress it enough. You have to put in the work. Learn to lean into discomfort and saying no to distractions, building self-awareness, and holding yourself accountable. Lean into discomfort. I recommend this for young men who are getting the spike of their testosterone. Lean into discomfort. If you're coming out of high school and you don't really know what to do, or if you want to, go to the military. It is the most uncomfortable place in the world, and this is coming from experience. Everything you do will be uncomfortable. Go work construction like I did. Very uncomfortable, cold, rigid. It is hot in the summer, unbelievably hot, and so cold to where you can't feel your hands when you work, and you still got to swing a sledgehammer, and it feels like your hands are about to shatter. You have to lean into discomfort. I cannot stress this enough. Nothing about the gym is comfortable. I'll tell you straight up. Every exercise is excruciating if you're doing it right. Every single one. I hate it, but I do it because I like to lean into discomfort. Saying no to distractions. That goes back to removing temptations. So if you're tempted to, when you get home from work, sit down, not eat your meals, and just doom scroll the whole time, that's a big problem. By saying no to distractions, you're teaching yourself to be disciplined. Everything goes back to discipline. I can't stress this enough. You need to be disciplined at all times. So when you catch yourself being distracted, you need to be self-aware of what's happening. You need to say, whoa, I wanted to be disciplined, yet I'm doom scrolling for an hour before I go to the gym. You gotta cut that out. I fall victim to that. I love Instagram Reels. I'm not gonna say I don't, because I do. It is freaking hilarious. I love Reels. And holding yourself accountable. So every time I catch myself doing that, I do an exercise in the gym that I hate doing. I don't like doing any sort of core workout, but I will. Usually every day, because I end up doom scrolling every day. It's a habit you have to get out of. It is what it is. Holding yourself accountable. So if I doom scroll, even if I don't do scroll, I do a little bit of core every day. Just a little bit. Hanging leg raises, crunches, rope crunches. It doesn't matter. I always hold myself accountable. This is a famous quote from Mike Tyson. I assume all of you know who that is. Discipline is doing what you hate to do, but doing it like you love it. I'm not a fighter. I'm not a boxer. I've never been in a boxing ring, but I have done boxing training and a little bit of MMA training. I hate it. It sucks. There's nothing fun about it. But you do what you hate, but you act like you love it. It's the same thing. You show up to the gym with a smile on your face. Any kind of gym. Weightlifting gym, boxing gym, Muay Thai gym. You show up happy, ready to attack. You have to always be ready to attack. I cannot stress that enough. Even when you want to just go about your day, you have to be ready to attack the day. I cannot stress this enough. You have to attack at all times. Attack, attack, attack. Because attacking constantly is being consistent and persistent. And that's executing. That's a sign of hard work, willpower, and acceptance. Everything relates to each other. Like, this is why I made this entire chart. Everything goes back to discipline, and everything that I've written down here relates to each other. Doesn't matter where you start, where you end. It all goes back to each other. So my final message to you, and it doesn't matter what age you are, what your background is, where you come from, your ethnicity, your culture, it doesn't matter. If you don't have discipline in your life, you're going to fail at everything. You need to be disciplined. Doesn't matter if it's religion, the gym, diet, work, or even a Rubik's Cube. You have to be consistent with it. No one's going to pick up a Rubik's Cube and instantly know how to solve it. Unless somebody's done that, I don't know. I don't watch videos on Rubik's Cubes. Same thing with chess. No one could pick up a chess game, not knowing the rules, and beat a grandmaster or even someone lower than that. You couldn't even beat someone with 150 ELO. And that's terrible. That's probably what I'm at. I suck at chess. But I'm learning. And it's the fact that if you learn to show up even when you don't want to, show up on the rainy days, I promise you will prevail. So always be consistent, always be persistent, and never give up. That is the key. Do not quit. Never say die. Stay disciplined. Bottom line is, you need to be disciplined at whatever you do. That's all that matters. That's all you need to focus on. You need to have tunnel vision on whatever goal that you place inside your mind. You need to make your dreams come reality because it is your life. You're the only one who cares about your dreams. No one's going to get up in the morning and think, oh, let me go drag him out of bed so he can chase his goals. No one is going to freaking do that for you. You need to do it yourself. And I recommend discipline to every single person on this planet.